Hi everyone, Silas Silence here, and welcome back to my channel today. So, first off I want to say that, one, this is weird because it's actually daylight, if you can tell. If you see my other videos, I have not recorded in the daylight in quite some time. But, also, this video is going to be a little different than what I have been doing with these album artwork looks that I've been doing. I'm wanting to actually kind of start like talking through them, making them a little bit more of an interactive experience, talk about why I chose this album, how I got into the band, just fun stories that relate to the music and the album that I am doing for the video. So for this one, it was the second most voted for on my Facebook for what I should do next of the 4 I put up there, which is, of course, My Chemical Romance. So this is probably going to be a rather like simple look. I'm not going to do much body painting because there's not much for me to do. I could technically, I guess, paint the girl on here, but I'm going to mainly focus on doing the male face of this look. So let's just get started and all that other fun stuff. So I'm going to start with the way that I've started most videos, and most way I've done most of these look is I'm going to use my white cream paint. I'm probably going to even, I just ordered this not too long ago, and since I've been doing so many looks, because I'm also working on 31 Days of Halloween for this year, which I am doing again, so let's be excited for that. I'm probably going to end up needing to get a new one rather shortly. So, just going to start, cover my entire face with this. This one's also going to be a little bit different too, because since I'm just replicating his face, I'm not going to be doing my regular way that I contour. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how this turns out. I'm hoping that it turns out really well. I am going to go down onto neck a little bit. That's about as far as I'm going to go with this look. I'll take a brush and do the ears in a minute. If you're watching my channel and you've gotten into these videos because of the other ones I've done, obviously at one point I was probably going to do My Chemical Romance, because, I mean, if you grew up in like that era and you were any type of emo kid, probably listen to My Chemical Romance. I'm trying to remember exactly how I got into them. I'm thinking it's how I got into a lot of these artists. So, at the very, very beginning of me starting to get into this music, because I was like the 90s kid that listened to like Britney Spears and Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and stuff like that. But I always had like a weird place, like I always liked some rock, because like I had like a secret album that had like some of the alternative rock that my dad listens to, and I don't know why I was like secretly made an album. Like I put like a pop song at the beginning, and like the first few songs were pop songs, just so like didn't find out that I liked that type of music. I don't know why. I was weird. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but it is what I did. And then I'm gonna get judged for this, but this is honestly the way that I ended up getting into this type of music, is Avril Lavigne happened. And I got into her. And also at the small town that I lived in, there was this skating rink that had these like all night, overnight event things. And this girl that worked there, she made me a list of all these bands I should check out. And My Chemical Romance and The Used and all those, and some like really like unknown bands that probably a lot of people haven't heard of, and are things that I will probably do in the future, because I mean, I like them a lot. I like a lot of music. Like when I get into a certain type of music or whatever, I end up searching for new music constantly. So I got into like quite a few bands that a lot of people that were never got as big as like My Chemical Romance. So I'm pretty sure that's how I initially got into them. But this is also around the time of Fuse, and I remember seeing the I'm Not Okay video and basically becoming obsessed with the band. I mean, honestly, I probably should shave to match his look a little bit more, but you know what? I don't. And I try to avoid shaving at all costs. I probably should have trimmed up a little bit, but it's fine. We will make do. Usually, I'm just doing kind of my interpretation or like my inspiration from the look, so I never plan on 100% recreating things exactly as they are. Some of them will be a little bit more, like the Day to Remember one that was a little bit more heavy, trying to do it almost exact. So was the Used, but then, well, I mean, okay, the first three have been. But I know the more that I do these, there are some I'm wanting to do in the future that just, there's no way for me personally, because I do a little bit of art, but I'm not the greatest like drawer in the world or anything. That's why, like, when I did the AFI one, I used the stencil, which will be something I do in some of these, and I have an ideas of how to do a few of the other ones that I just won't be able to actually paint, but I still want to do looks inspired by those bands and those albums. Let's see. I need a brush for the white, so I can go ahead and do my ears, which I hate, but at least with white, like, even though like I will find, no matter how much I clean my ears, for some reason it's still just in there for like ever. I'm gonna actually probably just use this little bit of the old tube that I have, so I can probably finally get rid of it, because there is not much left whatsoever in this thing. But anyways, My Chemical Romance. I get on a few random topics that did not relate to them. So yeah, I was a very big My Chemical Romance fan around the time they started getting big. I remember first time I saw them, I think it was, because actually they are one of the bands that I've seen quite a few times. I saw them at Warped Tour, and the thing that I remember about that show is I was basically kind of close to the railing, and it was so hot, and I was just, you know, getting squished between people because I'm a small dude. So that's actually kind of the first show I ever crowd surfed at. Not really crowd surfing, because I didn't like, it was more just freaking get out of there so I can breathe. That's basically why I did it. Anyone who knows me knows, like, my all-time favorite band is Alkaline Trio. Well, I will say, before I became a super Alkaline Trio fan, I was actually a little bit more of a My Chemical Romance fan. Because my best friend at the time, throughout high school, Rachel, we went to go see Alkaline Trio and My Chemical Romance together. I think that might have been the actual first time. It was either Warped Tour or that one. It was one or the two. And it was like, I was seeing my favorite band at the time, which was My Chemical Romance, and she was seeing hers, which was Alkaline Trio. Well, somehow over the years, I became like a way bigger Alkaline Trio fan than My Chemical Romance. I'm not really sure when the switch happened, but it did. if I like a band at one point or like a song at one point, even if way later on it is cheesy as hell for me to like that particular band or song, I still like it because at one point I did like it. I never like, oh no, I hate this absolutely now. I'm like, I might be like, why did I like this? But I don't know. That's just the type of person I am. See, so I also saw them when they toured with The Used, so that was another time. And then I know I saw them, and this is one I actually ended up not really like watching as much because like I ended up kind of being in the lawn for this part because I had met some girl and I was flirting and stuff. Was the Project Revolution Linkin Park tour. We drove all the way to Indiana because it was before the year that tour came to St. Louis. So we drove to Indiana for that tour. I know that was also the year I got to meet Placebo, which Placebo is one of my other big bands that I absolutely love. And we drove all that way, and at this time I had already seen My Chemical Romance like 4 or 5 times, so I was just like, you know, it's not a big deal if I like am not up close where my seats are at to really watch them. I remember Taking Back Sunday being there too. And I think Mindless Self-Indulgence was there on one of the side stages. Those are the only bands I can really remember. And then obviously Linkin Park. Also, funny side note about that show, which has nothing to do with My Chemical Romance or anything like that, but there was, if you guys have ever watched Survivor, Rupert, big like kind of hippie dude, he was there. I still regret that I didn't like kind of go say hi or try to go say hi to him and whatnot, because me and my dad watched Survivor all the time. So I also realized I hadn't really listened to this album in quite some time, to be honest. I just recently, the last few days, re-listened to it, and also like earlier today I was re-listening to it, and I was like, I forgot how, like, I knew it was like a great album, like very essential and like what I like, but like totally like forgot how much I actually enjoyed this album until I went back and listened to it, because honestly I don't know how long it's been, but it's definitely been some time since I've listened to this album. I think I'm gonna do the red, because so for him, like the whole forehead is basically red, and then some X's, and then just like different areas. So I'm gonna go in with probably, my lovely partner got me these cream palettes, and there's a few different reds. There's a brighter red, and I'm gonna see what this red looks like. The fun part is gonna be trying to like blend these out and make it look kind of more like bloody, you know, and water painty type. That is going to be the fun part. And also, of course, I forgot with me doing white, I'm going to have to go in with this pretty deep, because otherwise it's going to be pink. And I am not trying to do a pink look. We already did that. I think right now I'm just going to kind of get an idea of the placement of everything. The other actually interesting story that I can tell that relates to My Chemical Romance is, so when I was still in high school, we would have, you know, like the kind of spirit week type thing, whatever. And I didn't really plan it, but somehow, because I don't think I picked this out for, okay, also I guess I should preface something. So if you are new to my channel and you haven't checked out my other videos, I am a trans man. So I was born female and I have transitioned into being who I really am, which is a guy. Well, before then, back in high school, this was not the case, and I did most things to like fit in with the norm of, you know, females and such, and wore dresses to homecoming and prom and stuff. I'm trying to remember if this was like a homecoming or a prom dress. I think it might have been a homecoming. So I got this dress, and I can't remember if it was before the video came out or after, but basically it was almost an exact match to the dress in the video Elena. So we would do kind of a lip sync type thing. Well, I mean, it was basically kind of a talent show, but you could also like lip sync and put kind of progression, you know, production type numbers out. And so I did that. I even created like little flyer things for my friends to walk up and down and hand out, and we built a little coffin out of cardboard. And I think it was actually, I'm pretty sure my boyfriend at the time pretended to be Gerard singing, and then I popped out of the coffin and danced around and all that stuff. I probably would never want to see a video of that, but it is something that I did. And actually, for the longest time, I kept that dress. Kind of wish I still had it, just because I feel like it would be kind of cool to have. But I don't anymore. Honestly, not sure where we're going with this yet. Just trying to get some red on my face in the areas that there is red. And I'm trying, I don't want to do too much everywhere and just like be fully covered. But he does have a lot more than she does in the photo. Like, his face is way more bloodied up than hers. And obviously, after I said all this, I'm going to be going in with shadows in different spots and shading things a little differently. Because there's definitely a few different types of red going on in this. Also, I will mention that I will also post, or at least try to, video, like a sped up video on like probably more than likely my Instagram for these looks, just so you're aware. So if you are not interested in hearing me talk about all this, like my chemical, you know, my experiences listening to the band and all that, then you can go check that out on my Instagram. It's Silas Silence SFX. Will always be linked down in the description of my videos, so you can always go check that out, because I think that's what I'm going to start doing, putting the more in-depth talking ones on my YouTube. And then if you want to see the just the sped up of how I did this, I will put that on Instagram. Okay, now with like these areas, I'm starting to kind of try to splatter some of this on and not just like because there are some lighter areas and such. I think actually I'm going to try to blend some of this now and see how it's going to be looking before I do too much more lines. Not really liking how that cheek part's coming out. But there is ways to fix such things. So actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to continue, just go ahead and blend all this out. And then I'm going to start going in with some more white in some areas and take away some of this red, because it is definitely blended out a little bit more than I would like. And yes, I know right now it's looking a little bit more pink than red, but we will fix that as we go. So I would also like to kind of like start a discussion down in the comments of like, I want to know what everyone's like favorite song from this album was. Re-listening to everything, I'm honestly not sure what mine is. I always loved, and I'm not like, probably not the only one, but I've always really liked You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison. Like, I really love like that little laugh at the end. Like, I've always loved that. Like, it's always been one of my favorite things. Don't know why, it just is. I think probably what's going to be my best bet is after I set this, going in with white water activated paint on the parts that I want to bring back more white, and try to use some of this red that's in here. Maybe that might actually help some of this. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot. Even though that looks like a very like deep red, it kept like wanting to blend out a little bit more pink. But that's also probably because I was putting it on top of white. Very good possibility. So yeah, even though like it doesn't show the other side of the face on here, I going with an artistic decision that I don't think that they would like be a perfect like match to each other, like the exact same thing on one side as the other. I will say though, not all of this is going to be me fully talking if you haven't realized already. There will be some sped up parts because I am not going to know what to say always. Because I only have so much stories, and then also I get super focused on what I'm doing sometimes. So there is that as well. I honestly actually went into this one thinking it was going to be actually somewhat easy. I think I might have been slightly mistaken that this one will be a little bit harder than what I initially thought it would be. A few more places I want to go with this for now, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and set it, and then I'm contemplating doing some white on it and doing some white in some areas and like lightening some of this up, and then probably using water activated paint and eyeshadow to get the effect of the rest of the stuff. So I already have some white on this brush, and I'm going in with the black on here to do the little, basically contour, but it goes a little bit down instead of. So far, I honestly think the ears almost look the best from what is happening so far. So I think I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to try to add a little bit more white to these areas. And then after I do that, I'm going to set it, and then I will. I definitely think at this point my best bet is to go in with, set it, and then go in with water activated paint and try to get some of the things fixed up. Not saying that this is bad, but I still might go in with some creams. I just need to set this first because like things are going a little too wild. Also, what's your guys' favorite My Chemical Romance album? Personally, I will say, and this might be unpopular opinion, I actually think I like this album the best. Now, don't get me wrong, The Black Parade is iconic and is a great freaking album, but I don't know, maybe it's just the nostalgia for me that like this is the album that got me into them. This is the album I fell in love with. That might be part of it. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it looks pretty awful, but we'll see if we can fix it and turn it around. I think I just went a little bit too heavy with the cream. I think if I would have stopped a little bit earlier, we would have been fine. But I didn't. So here we are, and we're going to try to make something out of this. Actually, I think this is helping a lot. Cool. I wasn't sure if we were going to be at the point of no return, and I was going to have to scrap this video and try again some other time. I'm trying to do videos like this weekly. At some point, it's not going to be weekly, but right now, it is. Or at least that is the goal. I probably should have done majority water activateds like this, since it is kind of like a watercolor-esque type stylized thing. I just thought that using creams, because that's become my new favorite thing to use, that it would end up looking a lot better. So I am going to go over most of this stuff besides the sharp lines, and then use water activated to get some of the detail of the other spots. I want various shades of red, so kind of painting and then dragging it out, keeping the darkish portion up here. And so also another thing I'm kind of doing with this so that it kind of like expands a little bit on its own and takes on its own pattern is I'm using quite a bit of water in this water activated. Alright, so something I think I'm going to do that will probably help. First, I'm actually going to draw my eyebrows. I just realized I've been kind of very silent for a long time. I've been hyper focused on this look because I got away from the just whatchamacallit. I also think I need to adjust a few things, so I will be right back. I'm going to adjust a few things, and I think I'm going to grab something that might help this look out a little bit. Alright, so last thing I think I'm going to do on camera is I am going to take some of this vampire blood that I have and splatter it some on my face. Alright, there's a few things I'm going to do basically off camera, and then next time you see me, it will be the reveal. So I will be back shortly and see how this look turned out. Alright, so that does it for this video and how I created My Chemical Romance 3 Cheers for Revenge album artwork on my face. There wasn't much, like I said, there wasn't much to do to the body, so it's just my face. The only thing I really did off camera was I just took water activated paint and kind of painted my hair black, because I'm not going to dye it just for a video. But anyways, if you like this video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more looks that I'm doing like this. This could basically be a very long series of me doing multiple looks. Some more well known, some not so much. But if you liked it, please leave a like. If you want to see more of this type of video where I am talking through it a little bit more, let me know. Or if you just want to see the sped up of how I did it, let me know. Whichever one you guys prefer over the other one is probably what I'll end up doing. So just let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know any other looks that you want to see me do. I still have 2 more of the ones that I had people vote on, and I'm going to do those 2 first. But after that, it's open game. I have like a whole bunch that are on my list to do. But if there is one that specifically any of you would like to see, please let me know down in the comments below. And that pretty much does it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.